good that we got together today, just because this is a huge game for us. I mean, we're coming off a really big game, but when you look at the net ratings of all the teams we played thus far, after Cincinnati, Wofford's the highest net ranking. They're good. I mean, they beat North Carolina at North Carolina last year. They beat Georgia Tech a year ago. They beat South Carolina this year by 20. And you go watch their tapes from this year, it's a 10-point game, or a tied game at Oklahoma 10 minutes ago. They were up 3 with 10 minutes ago at Kansas. Games they both lost. They played one other game they played incredibly tough. They have 3 losses: at Oklahoma, at Kansas, and one other I made you. Carolina. They lost to Carolina this year, which was a 4-point game with 7 minutes to go. These guys are a problem. McGee will end up by the end of the year being the second most three-pointers made in the history of college basketball. He is currently, of current players today, I think the 5th scorer of all the scorers in the country. The shooter Hoover, who had 9 threes in the South Carolina game, couldn't really shoot. They shoot 46% of their shots from 3 and are very efficient from the three-point line. They have a great big guy inside, Jackson. I mean, Jackson scores on everybody who's a senior. He scores on every single team with ease that he plays against. He's a real problem. They're very well coached. Coach Young, he's been there 17 years, has a program. I mean, these kids are good players. Their point guard, Murphy's good. Ryan Larson, who backs him up, started against South Carolina. Murphy didn't even play. He was hurt against South Carolina when they won. These guys are an excellent team. And I guess my big thing is we need to get as many people to the game tomorrow as possible. One of the things, watching that game against Cincinnati, which I watched 2 or 3 times, our crowd was awesome. It was a great atmosphere. It made a huge difference for our ability to be successful. And so I'm so appreciative of everyone that came to the game Saturday, and I know that everybody can make it here tomorrow night. It's going to be huge for our team as we march forward and hope to have a really special year this year. Questions?
Go ahead and start with Joel in the front, and we'll get the microphone to you guys, or we can start with Tyler. Let's go ahead and start with Tyler. That's fine.
I just asked the players, how hard is it to go from that Cincy game, obviously very emotional, big win, and now, like you mentioned, you got another really tough opponent here tonight, tomorrow night, a couple days later. How hard is it to sort of set the reset button there and move on? Well,
the bottom line is it's preparing us for what's the most important, which is the SEC. Every night the SEC is going to be a monster. I mean, there are no breaks. Every game is difficult. So that's kind of what we're doing. Clemson, Cincinnati, Wofford. I mean, it's hard. Every game is tough. And this is really what, the non-conferences prepare you for what you're going to see in your conference. Our conference is incredibly competitive and talented and tough. And this team, though, I just want to educate, make sure everybody knows how good these people are, because it's going to be a fun team to watch. I mean, these guys can shoot. They play tough defense. They're rebounding. They're one of the top 25 rebounding teams in the country. It's a very good team.
Any questions? We'll get the microphone to you. Go ahead and get it over to Logan.
Ben, got the game coming up Saturday in Jackson. Has there been any discussions to move that anywhere else in the state, or do you like playing in the state capitol?
I just think that Jackson has the most alums, and we have players that hail from close to that area, it makes the most sense. In my mind, if we want to play a game there every year for our fans, right before Christmas, it then allows our guys to go home from there, and so it's a good situation. We're not changing. We'll keep that game there every year.
Any questions for Coach? We'll get the microphone to you. Anybody? Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.